Welcome to Storytime with Dre, where I share stories to uplift and inspire you. I'm a transformational coach for empaths with ADHD who want to discover their superpowers to transform stress into success. Today, I'm going to be talking about analysis paralysis. And some of us with ADHD, you might be thinking, like, aren't we impulsive people? We can be, but we can also fall into this trap of analysis paralysis, where maybe I'm going to go over the psychology of some of this stuff, and then I'm going to leave you with a powerful question you can ask yourself to kind of get the ball rolling, to pull some of the threads. And this is gold, that this little golden nugget that I share with my clients. So with analysis paralysis, we're afraid to make a decision. We get into this place, maybe it's something big like life-changing, choosing between two different jobs, or choosing between your current job and a new job, or maybe it's something so small like shampoo or soap in the grocery store. So we tend to, when we get in this place, we tend to just freeze up. We don't want to make the decision. We heavily rely on other people, or we just procrastinate the decision and don't make a decision at all. I've seen this in a lot of clients when they want to start a business and they've always had this dream of starting a business, but they don't know where to start and they don't know what to do. And they feel like it's too daunting, it's too overwhelming, why bother? So that trap can, at first, when it's a couple things, it's like, okay, well, not a big deal, but eventually, eventually it gets us in this place of where we're stagnant. We're not moving anything in our life. Our energy becomes stagnant. We outgrow our lives, and then we don't want to make decisions about what to do to go forward with our life, like these things that could bring us more joy and happiness, and we get stuck. And that's how we get stuck. And so with analysis paralysis, it's all wrapped up in fear. So I'm afraid to make this decision. I'm triggered. So sometimes it's our past triggers that could have been impulses. Like, well, I impulsively made that decision before and it wasn't the best decision for me, so I need to collect more evidence. Our ego brains really like evidence. Evidence is not bad. Evidence is good. But the ego brain will also use anything and everything, including confirmation bias, to support the evidence that you believe is true about yourself. That's the difference, right? In a scientific mind, we want science. We want to be guided by science and scientific thinking and evidence. But our ego likes to, our inner critic likes to get loud and kind of make itself seem like it's evidence about us and who we are and all of the things that we've messed up on in the past. So we get into this space of where our amygdala is activated. We're working out of our fear center. This is our limbic system, right? Where we need to fire up the autonomic system, where we're taking deep breaths in and out. The out breath is what you need more. It's going to relax you. When we're in that fear cycle, that fear center and that fear cycle, we're going through a lot of historic thinking where I did this before and I really messed up, right? The inner critic gets really, really loud. And so it's important to be able to shift away from that. So one of the tools, one of the bits of advice I have for you is, when you're in analysis paralysis, you need to slow down your thinking. And in order to do that, you need to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, either through things like meditation or deep breathing, 2-to-1 breathing. I have other meditations on my Storytime with Dre episodes that you can watch and participate in to slow down your thinking and your brain. The other piece of advice that I have is to map out and write down those pros and cons of both things. What would happen? What is the best thing that could happen from experience A? What is the best thing that could happen from experience B? And really, you know, kind of see it on paper. Put it down, put your pros and cons down. I highly recommend a pros and cons list. And then the last thing, number 3, which is the most powerful thing that you can ask yourself is, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid of? Because that's where the gold is. When you discover what it is that you are actually scared of, why am I hesitating to make this decision? Why am I afraid? What is it that I'm actually afraid of? Most of us don't want to go down that path, and it's uncomfortable and it causes us to grow. But if you're somebody who's ready for that, you can ask yourself that question: what is it that I'm actually afraid of? And what can I do in this moment? What if that happened? What would be the worst thing that could come from that? What could be the best thing that could come from that? The thing is about life is we don't really know. So I've taken a lot of risks in my life. Some of them have been very risky and uncalculated, and I wouldn't recommend making the mistake. If I had to go back in time, I would still make the same decisions I did because I like where I am now. And those things forced me to grow. But in some ways, analysis paralysis is, and not in some ways, analysis paralysis is the way we keep ourselves stuck. We spend the time not making the decision, thinking about it, rather than actually doing something about it. And it causes us to go into cognitive dissonance at some point, which is why we tend to get really uncomfortable when we've been in analysis paralysis for a long time. So pull yourself more into that autonomic nervous system, slow your brain down, make that pros and cons list, and ask yourself, what is it that I'm afraid of? What decision am I holding off? And start there. And if you need some extra help, you can always find me from my website that's on this video. So make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications so that you get more news from Storytime with Joy. And mahalo.